What's up guys? Welcome to the prediction series for Super Mario Galaxy 3. Today we're going to talk about power-ups. Now I'm going to bring up a large amount of ideas. Some of them may be good, others not so much. The point really is to bring discussion and inspiration on what this game could offer us. With that, let's get started. You know what kind of bothers me about Mario games? They never seem to have that big a variety of power-ups to pick from. I mean, think about it. They're constantly introducing new power-ups, but they only use them for a couple of games, and that's it. Aside from the mushroom, fire flowers, and stars, of course, those are just standard. Wouldn't it be awesome if Super Mario Galaxy 3 had a huge span of power-ups that could be used? We already know that this kind of idea could work, seeing how the Kirby franchise allows for dozens of power-ups to be used within the game. Why can't Mario try this? Let's start with the power-ups I'd like to see return. Now of course we'll probably see the Fire Flower and Ice Flower return, seeing as those are staples, but some Galaxy staples that I'd like to see return include the Beam Mushroom, Boo Mushroom, Cloud Flower, and Boomerang Flower. As for power-ups in other Mario games aside from Galaxy, I'd love to see the Mega Mushroom, Mini Mushroom, Goomba Shoe, Balloon, Flood, Propeller Mushroom, Cape Flower, Cat Bell, Metal Cap, Invisible Cap, Wing Cap, the Hammer Suit, Double Cherry, and the Koopa Shell. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but please, just hear me out. In order to really help all of these galaxies stand out, I think that all of these power-ups should be in the game, but they're used exclusively for just one or two galaxies to help you get the stars. And then, when you get to the final levels or the final Bowser stage, you get to use multiple different power-ups for this. I think this would overall just be a great way to freshen up the series a little bit. It's not really changing anything, but at the same time, it's giving the player more options, and that is so important as we move forward in gaming. Now, me and my fans have come up with several brand new ideas for power-ups. Now again, they might not all work that well, but it's worth at least throwing the idea out there. If you watch part 1 of this series, you'll know that I talked about a galaxy called the Paper Galaxy. If you didn't watch that, feel free to catch up, or I'll just give you a brief synopsis right now. Basically, the world is in 3D, but you use a specific power-up called the Paper Flower to change your 3D into 2D. So that's the idea, the Paper Flower. Now thinking about what Mario would look like in 2D is kind of a hard decision. Should he look like he does in Paper Mario, or should he have a brand new design specifically for Mario Galaxy 3? That's something that I can't really decide, and I don't think it's that big a deal, but it's something that should be thought about. Okay, so what if there was a high jump mushroom? The idea is pretty simple. As the name implies, you jump higher, maybe twice as high as usual. The kicker is that after jumping, your character kind of stops in place for a second. Now this would kind of slow down the gameplay, it would also prevent the power-up from being too overpowered. Alright, so how does a bomb mushroom sound? What basically happens is that instead of throwing fireballs or ice balls, you throw tiny little bombs. The explosions could be maybe half the size of a normal bomb, and it would mainly just be an alternative to throwing a fireball or an ice ball. Imagine this. Mario basically becomes Spider-Man with a power-up called the Spider Mushroom. What happens here is that Mario can climb up walls as well as shoot webs. You can use these webs to either climb up certain buildings faster or to cross really big gaps. Now how amazing would it be if you could like web an enemy, bring them in, and then like punch them square in the face? That would be so cool. Here's an interesting idea. How about a black hole mushroom? The premise is quite simple. It's basically just a screen wipe of all the enemies on screen. Now I'm not exactly sure how the power-up should be implemented. There's a couple of different options. For one, the power-up could be used automatically, so once you grab the mushroom, everything just screen wipes, or you could hold the mushroom and then use it whenever you want to. How sweet would it be if there was a ninja mushroom? This could improve Mario's speed, as well as give you the ability to throw ninja stars. Maybe you could throw, say, 3 at a time. Perhaps he could also have enhanced wall jumps, so when he does one, he goes a farther distance. Or maybe instead he'll stick to the walls and he can now climb the walls up or down. A lot could be done with a ninja-esque power-up, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised we've never seen one used before. Playing games like Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine really allow Mario to perform some kind of parkour type of tricks with all the abilities and moves he can do, so again, I'm kind of surprised this power-up doesn't exist yet. Now of course, Yoshi has to be in this game, seeing how big of an impact he made on Mario Galaxy 2. And I really like the idea of him eating certain fruits and then gaining abilities from that. While that'd be pretty cool to return, you know what would be even cooler? What if he could transform like in Yoshi's Island? I think that would be a great way to mix up the platforming gameplay. Of all the transformations from Yoshi's Island, including the car, helicopter, mole tank, submarine, and train, all of these would be great additions to add back. Now let's use Koopa the Quick again as an example. So you use him and you're trying to race this guy, but you just can't get fast enough. So while in the middle of the race, what you're supposed to do as Yoshi is try to find one of the transformations, like the car or the helicopter, to gain actual speed on Koopa the Quick. And as for the helicopter ability, maybe there's some red coins that you just can't access with Mario, so you have to transform into the helicopter to get them. I'd only want to see these transformations used very sparingly. I don't want the core gameplay to be completely tarnished or changed from this. Instead of transformations or fruits, perhaps Yoshi could eat power-ups like everyone else does. Perhaps if Yoshi ate a fire flower, he'd become Fire Yoshi, which would allow him to walk on lava or spit out fire. This power-up in itself could be temporary, and the more fire that you spit, the faster it disappears. Now, if there were to be a Fire Yoshi, it would only make sense that you could eat an ice flower and become an Ice Yoshi as well. What would be super cool is if with Yoshi, you could blow some ice breath over water and then you could walk over it right away. And if Yoshi blows ice breath on lava, a geyser would form, which would allow Yoshi to get to really high to reach places. I know that might not make the most sense, but just imagine if there was a level where you have to play as Ice Yoshi, and basically you're going from lava to ice and you have to constantly use geysers to travel, or you have to continuously make paths of water using your ice breath. That would be really cool. Maybe Yoshi could gain a power-up where he can spit out tornadoes. Imagine that there's a desert level where there's a huge section filled with quicksand. You could use this power-up to spit out a tornado, then fly up, spit it out again, fly up, and just repeat the cycle to get across. And to make this more challenging, this power-up could only be temporary, so you have to do this quickly. There's been levels in Super Mario Galaxy where you use the tornadoes as a method of traveling. So why can't we control where the tornadoes are for a bit more interactivity? That's all the ideas we have for today. Leave a comment below and let me know what sort of power-ups you would like to see added. Do you want there to be a bunch of power-ups like I suggested, or do you think it's a better idea if there's only a few in the game? Leave a like if you want, and hop on the bandwagon and follow my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak with you in the upcoming parts.